Hello, boys and girls. Mr. Parcha again. I hope that your weekend went really well. I have a video about absolute value today. I'm going to tackle the distance part tomorrow, but I just kind of wanted to go over absolute value. This should be fairly new to you. Absolute value to me is a pretty simple concept. It's something like this. Now, you know normally that -5 is not equal to 5, but the absolute value of -5 is equal to 5. That's what the absolute value of -5 is. It's 5. And then, of course, the absolute value, this is the symbol for absolute value. So -7, when you put these two long lines next to any number, absolute value of -7 is, I'm sure you're guessing, 7. And then, of course, sometimes they're going to show you something like this, where it's just the normal number, and you know that 4.5 equals 4.5, but the absolute value of 4.5 also equals 4.5. So it really just means that whatever the number is in the absolute value, it actually equals the positive number that goes with it. What absolute value is really telling you is the distance from zero that it is. And as you can see, the opposites in this case are equal to each other. So whatever negative number opposite there is, it's the same distance from zero. That's why they're opposites. They also equal the opposite, the positive one, I should say. So let's do a couple comparisons. This will be really easy. A couple comparisons are, if we said that -5 and the absolute value of -5, is it greater than, less than, or equal to 2? Well, most of you would say, since -5 is less than 2, I should go ahead and say that the absolute value of -5 is less than 2, but as you can see, the absolute value of -5 is actually equal to 5. So I'm going to say that the absolute value of -5 is greater than 2, because the absolute value of -5, this is actually 5 when I take this all together. When I take the absolute value of it, it is 5. So a couple more. The absolute value of -0.2, and I would say, is it greater than, less than, or equal to 0.1? And you can think about that for a second. The absolute value of -0.2 is greater than 0.1. And then I also don't always think that the absolute value one is the greater one. They could throw it out to you something like this: the absolute value of -4 and 5, right? And they ask you to compare, and you might say, oh, well, the trend has been that anything that's the absolute value is the greater one. Well, but the absolute value of -4 is 4, and in any world, 4 is less than 5. So you have to write it that way. 4 is less than 5. So don't get stuck into the, I'll just go ahead and make whatever's in the absolute value 5. So I have some practice ones on Khan that are like this. I have not seen a lot of traffic on Khan. I've only seen about 3 students on there. So I think part of the problem was that I was making the assignment date. I didn't realize that, since this is all new to us. The assignment date was pretty brief. So people that might have been checking saw that it came off within a day or two, and they couldn't do it anymore. So I extended the assignment date, and I'm going to try to remember to do this to all of them, extend the assignment date to June 12th, at the end of the school year. So that's it for today, and tomorrow we'll tackle absolute value as a distance on a number line.